All right, welcome. I'm Jessica Love. I'm Executive Director of Daring Girls here with Beth McCabe from Africa Adventure Consultants, and we are looking forward to walking through this quick overview of the Tanzania and Daring Girls trip. I hope this recording is helpful for those of you who let me know you couldn't make it today. So thanks so much for those of you who were able to join. So, first of all, just a quick walkthrough of what we'll cover over the next 30 minutes. I'll give you just a quick high-level overview of the Daring Girls and Glammy partnership and the mentoring programs we support. I'll walk through what you'll see and do on the Daring Girls trip for our agenda and how to secure one of the spots that are available for the trip. And then I'll hand it over to Beth, who will walk through some options that they've done in working with our past guests to add on sort of the adventure of a lifetime, whether it's a photography adventure or just a relaxing safari, or some other kind of adventure that they can help you create to make your trip just really a special experience all around. Beth will walk you through all of that. And then if there are any questions in the chat or on the screen, I'm happy to take those at the end. So just really quick to walk through who is definitely going on the trip with you. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to go, but you are in excellent hands with my partner here in the US, Salima Dadani, who is our finance director, and she's been at the organization since 2018. And I'm really looking forward to being with you on this trip. You will also be with Rose Naga, who is my communications and marketing officer. She is based in Arusha, Tanzania. So she's also a graduate of the KISA project. And so you'll be in excellent hands with not only an alumna, but also a Daring Girl staffer and also a native who lives and works in Arusha, which is the first city that will stop during the trip. You'll also be joined during parts of the trip by Aika Robert Nyaka. I always mispronounce her last name, but she runs an organization called Girls Adventures Tanzania, and they provide our sort of day-to-day transportation, but she's also instrumental in our major cultural activity that I'll get to that's kind of midweek through the week. But Aika is a former Glammy mentor who now runs her own travel business, and so she's just really exceptional, and you'll really love the times that you'll spend with her during the trip if you decide to come as well. You'll also be joined by members of the Glammy team, and they'll be popping in and out. You'll have lots of opportunities to get to know the mentors and others who work with Glammy and who lead Glammy. They'll be popping in and out for meals. We'll have lots of opportunities for lunches and dinners so you can really connect with the people who are doing the work that you're supporting through going on this trip. So, just a quick look at what we do. Daring Girls supports our local partner Glammy by fundraising, raising awareness, bringing people to see the work that they do, which is mentorship programs. They do two mentorship programs. One is called the KISA Project. That's a 2-year socially responsible leadership course for girls who are in their last 2 years of secondary school. So, the equivalent really of like junior and senior year of high school in the US. These are girls who have successfully made it to the end of their secondary school career, who are preparing to go to university, and who are learning through this mentorship program how to be leaders who lead change in their own lives and in their communities. And so leadership is really important in that program. The second program that we support that's implemented through our local partner Glammy in Tanzania is called Binti Shupavu. And Binti Shupavu is a 4-year class that is a mentorship program designed to increase graduation rates for girls who are more vulnerable and at risk of dropping out of secondary school. So this program would be for girls kind of middle school equivalent age in the United States who are pressured at home by maybe parents who don't believe that education is something their daughter needs. They feel that maybe their daughter should be contributing to the family by cooking or cleaning or doing other chores or contributing to the family business. Maybe the girl faces other pressures from other people who tell her that she shouldn't go to school. She has challenges like very long walks to get to school where she might be harassed by motorbike drivers that are passing her every day. So these are the girls who are at risk of dropping out because there's just a lot of messages coming at them from every direction that their education isn't going to amount to anything. And so our programs show them otherwise, that if they stay in school and they have the tools to advocate for their own education, that they can thrive and they can succeed in their lives by making their own choices. So those are the programs that you'll get to witness in person. Daring Girls and Glammy used to be a single organization. We started 25 years ago in Tanzania, still working there today. The first class of girls who went through mentorship programs, through the KISA project for older girls, I think had about 20 girls in it back in 2010. So you can see the tremendous growth today that the organization's now active in 58 schools, reaching, I think nearly 28,000 girls combined between the current enrolled girls and girls who have graduated from the programs. And a really cool feature of the programming is that 64% of Glammy's staff are alumni of the programs. So the girls who are being mentored by women who once sat where they're sitting in these desks today. So they're seeing their future selves before them who are teaching them all of these life skills that will help them throughout their lifetime to complete their education and find careers that are meaningful. So to the trip, the first day of our trip, you arrive. So the trip dates, the official trip dates are August 3rd through 7th, but really we start on the 2nd. We'll need you to arrive in Arusha. Maybe you do something in Africa or Tanzania before that. We'll just need you to arrive at the hotel on Sunday, August 2nd to check in. We have lots of activity ideas if you want to do some things on your own, or you can just relax in the hotel, enjoy the pool or the workout room, or just sit with a book while you recover from the jet lag. And then we'll have a dinner with the group that night for those who are feeling awake and energetic for that. We've got just kind of a very casual dinner lined up. In Arusha, we'll be staying at the Sheraton Arusha Hotel just to kind of help ease you in. It's right in the downtown area in the center of everything, very close to the Glammy offices. A global chain, so a little bit of a familiar feel for those who are going to Tanzania for the very first time. It's a really comfortable place with breakfast included, and we know you'll relax and recover there before we start our trip. So then the official trip begins on Monday, August 3rd. We'll begin our day with a cultural activity, which will be a local family that they teach about fabric and Tanzanian fabrics and sort of the meanings behind some of the different patterns and styles of fabric, which was really interesting to learn about. Then you'll also have your own chance to make batik fabric, your own design. This first picture on the screen of the mother and her child learning from the man who runs the business with his mother. They're making their own batik fabric, designing it, and then we dyed the fabric later, and everybody got to take home their designs, which was really fun. We also learned during the cultural activity session about beadwork, which you'll see a lot of in Tanzania. Really beautiful necklaces and bracelets and other very intricate beadwork, and you'll go home knowing how to make some of these really cool designs, whether it's bracelets with little flowers, Tanzanian flag designs, or other things. So you'll learn a few tricks of the trade that you can take home. And it's a great way for us to just sort of get to know each other in a low stress environment where we're all kind of doing something with our hands. It's a fun souvenir to take home. After that, we'll head over to Glammy, meet the team, take a lot of funny photos with them. They love to take silly photos. This is one of many that we took during the trip last fall. And we'll have lunch with them, learn a little bit about the programs directly from them, and then we will join them in a school. And we'll go visit either Binti Shupavu or Kisa Project in action. And you'll get to sit with the girls, learn from them, interact with them. And we really design these trips hoping that the girls learn as much from us as we learn from them. We know we always learn a bit more, but we really want it to be a give and take and not just us sitting there and, observing. We really want it to be active and fun for everybody. So the next day of the trip on Tuesday, we'll be in Arusha again, where we will head over to the Masai market, where we'll have some glammy guides with us to help negotiate. I don't know about those of you who've been to markets like this, but I get a little stressed out when bargaining for or haggling for things that I want. So the glammy team will be there to help us make the right purchasing decisions and find what we're looking for. And after that, we'll have lunch and then we'll head to another classroom visit to observe either Kisa Project or Binti Shupavu once again. And then the third day of the trip, we will have a bit of an early departure, but we will leave Arusha and head toward Moshi, which is our second stop where we'll be staying. But on the way, we'll be visiting a village called Namwai Village, which is in the Kilimanjaro region, where we'll be visiting a group called Wamboa. You can see some women in the bottom screen wearing t-shirts, but this is a cooperative of women who are now living and working in a community together, many of whom are widowed or maybe from abusive relationships. They're now working together and supporting each other by running an agricultural collective where they're harvesting all the fruits and vegetables and crops and products and selling it as a group and splitting the money amongst themselves. So everyone benefits collectively from doing this together. They share meals in one big room where you can see the structure with all the women in their beautiful sarongs at the top screen. They share meals there. We'll spend a lot of time there. We'll enjoy the most amazing meal of the trip that they will cook for us and that we can help cook while we are there. And we'll also learn how to make certain Tanzanian dishes. You may harvest a cabbage like Lena in the middle up atop from their garden that will go to market. And one of the coolest things that I think we did, you'll see at the top of the screen, there's a woman picking some things off a tree. She's picking coffee berries. And we took those berries and we ground them up and then rinsed them. And then the women of the Wamboa Collective roasted them on a fire right in front of us, took the beans, ground them right in front of us, took the grinds, brewed them, and we then drank them in those yellow cups at the bottom of the screen, which is the freshest cup of coffee I have ever had in my entire life. So this day is really special because these women not only invite you to their farm, but they invite you into their homes to see what real life in Tanzania is like. And they are just really excited to open up their community. Us visiting them is also a fundraiser for their community. We do pay in order to visit, and that is another way that they make income. And so I just love that we're supporting women in this way and visiting this stop. So this is a really special stop in the middle of all of our school visits that you'll get to witness. And in Moshi will be, I have not finalized the hotel yet, but it'll be one of these three beautiful locations. This will have a more sort of African tropical feel. So I hope this will excite you. And I look forward to sharing our final destination with you. But all of the accommodations will be very luxury and very comfortable. So you don't have to worry about that. So I'll be looking forward to sharing with you where we end up staying. And then on Thursday, our first day in Moshi, we will go visit the Glammy office. We'll get a bit of a tour. We'll have lunch with mentors. We'll also do an afternoon classroom visit to Kisa Project or Binti Shupavu in this region with these mentors that are working in this area. And then on Friday, we'll do another cultural activity. We'll be doing a market tour through town last year, and I think we'll repeat this year. And you have the choice if this doesn't feel quite safe for you. But we will be taking bajaji, which are three-wheeled motorbikes that are covered, and they're just really fun to ride around town in. And it's just a neat way to see Moshi and to go to the produce market and see where people do their shopping. So we'll take a little tour of town that way. And then we will head back to the Glammy office and we will join them on another visit to a school. And then on either Thursday or Friday, one of the things I think is really interesting and unique about our trip is not just that you can visit the schools and see the girls in action in these classrooms, which you can't do if you're not on a trip that Daring Girls is taking you on. So that's definitely a unique feature. But the other thing is that you get to meet parents of some of these girls. And so the top picture of the women and one man sitting down, these were some parents that joined us for a discussion to share what they thought about the program and how it impacted their daughters. And that is, I think, really special too, to be able to connect with some of the parents who can share the meaningful changes that they see in their own daughters. So that's another special touch. And then at the end of the day, we'll join with the Glammy office for sort of a final night barbecue or celebration. As I mentioned at the beginning, throughout the week, we'll have lots of opportunities to have lunches and dinners with different Glammy staff and probably board members. And that will all come together to give you a taste of delicious kinds of Tanzanian food from Nyama Choma, which is what they call like barbecue or grilled meats, to other kinds of delicacies and delights. So I hope you bring your stomach because there's a lot of amazing things to eat and a lot of great people to share those meals with. So And then, before or after your trip, we have the opportunity for you to build on a custom travel adventure with our travel partner, Africa Adventure Consultants. They're based right here in Denver, Colorado. They win awards every year all over the world for their luxury vacations and planning. And so, with that, I will let Beth share her screen and tell you a little bit about the kinds of add-ons that they can help you prepare if you want to have a conversation about what that might look like, or if you already know that you want to book a 3 or 5 day safari to add on to this experience. So, Beth, thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Jessica. Like Jessica said, Africa Adventure Consultants is a Denver-based African tour operator. We are very fortunate and grateful to have received awards from organizations like Travel and Leisure, Condé Nast Traveler, National Geographic. We have a long and wonderful history with Daring Girls, formerly Africade. So I dug up some pictures from the archives. I found a lot of joy in finding these. Our president and founder of Africa Adventure Consultants, Kent Redding, was formerly a board member with then Africade. He's in the top picture right in the middle. And I found a picture from 2014 when he was at an event and he's the one peeking out in the back. So we love the work that Daring Girls is doing, and we want to support the organization how we can. One way that we do that is through a donation program. So, for anyone who mentions they heard about us from Daring Girls when they're planning a safari and then they book, we'll donate 10% of their safari cost as a donation to Daring Girls on your behalf. We love our shared history. We're both celebrating 25 years this year. And so we've supported that through the donation program as well as offering some add-ons for these great donor visits. So what we can offer is really unlimited. We do completely customized safari planning services. So, if you can dream it, we can do it when it comes to East and Southern Africa. We can provide knowledge and advice and trip planning for 16 African countries, as well as some select kind of out of Africa destinations. Everything is really personalized to what you're looking for. Um, it's important to us to also provide safari experiences that benefit local people and environments. So, as part of our company's mission statement, we say that we want to benefit local communities, wildlife. We want to do safaris in an ethical way, and that's really important to us. And then we also offer comprehensive pre-trip information and support all the way through to the time you get home. So when you're traveling with us, you'll have access to a 24/7 emergency line. We have in-country support back in the US, and people that can answer your questions any time of the day should you need it. So with that, we offer a really wide range of experiences. So your traditional, big five safari experiences, if you've heard that term, to see, lions and leopard and elephant. We can offer great migration safaris. So if you're hoping to see the huge herds of wildebeest and zebra and all the predators that follow them through the Serengeti ecosystem, we can offer walking safaris, boating safaris. If you want to hike up Kilimanjaro, if you want to just look at Kilimanjaro, which is my preference, if you want to trek to see gorillas or chimpanzees, if you want to do some city touring, especially in cities like Nairobi or Cape Town, which have a lot to offer, cultural experiences, beach excursions, some sightseeing and history. We can plan it if you're interested in any or all of those things. So, with that in mind, with this donor trip, we've put together a couple options just to get your mind working. So, the easiest thing to add on to the donor trip would be visiting one or two or three parks, national parks in Tanzania. It would be easy to add that on before your trip starts or after your trip starts. However, keep in mind these are just samples. If you want to, end in Tanzania, but then fly to another country and do something differently, we can obviously arrange that as well. So our first option is a kind of quick 3-day, 2-night safari add-on in Tarangire National Park. Tarangire is such a special national park. For me, both of these pictures I actually took on my safari to this park a few years ago. If you like elephants, this is the park you've got to hit. They are well known for huge, massive populations of elephants. It felt like everywhere we turned, you're driving around, we'd see an elephant up close, far away, babies, huge herds with lots of different generations of elephants. But the park also has really a wide variety of wildlife. You can see lions, leopards, giraffe, wildebeest, zebra, Cape buffalo. They're especially known for their bird populations. They have over 500 species of birds and really a lot more that I couldn't fit on this slide. So, with your 3 days, 2 nights, you'd have morning and afternoon safari activities. So, a typical day on safari is you usually wake up early, have a quick bite to eat and camp, head out in the safari vehicle. You want to be out kind of around sunrise to catch the best wildlife viewing. Depending on your vehicle, if you've got a small group, you might be the only ones in the group. If you're a solo, you might be with another couple people from camp. You head out for a few hours and you see what you find with your safari guide. Um, then, usually midday, you kind of head back to camp, have lunch in camp, and you've got some downtime. Some of the camps that we work with in or near Tarangire have nice pools to relax by, big patios. You can kind of look out from your private deck onto potentially some wildlife viewing, take a nap if you're not used to waking up at sunrise, but you've got the kind of midday to do as you wish. And then mid to late afternoon, you might have a spot of tea in camp, and then you head back out on an afternoon safari activity, coming back to camp around sunset, usually have dinner and kind of share stories around the campfire often. Um, Tarangire is also unique in that you can get out of the vehicle if you'd like. So you can do a walking safari, which is that lower picture there. So you can, with the support of a safari guide, a ranger, who does carry a weapon in case of emergency, you're tracking wildlife behavior, kind of safely walking from point A to point B. When I did the walking safari in Tarangire, um, we left right from camp, kind of walked along the riverbed, which had been dried up at that point of the year, saw lots of elephant herds. Some wildebeest ran by at one point, kind of a safe distance away. We'd kind of pause, regroup. The guide and the ranger do a great job communicating which is the safest route to take. We want to be sensitive to the animals. We don't want to spook an animal, obviously. Point out a lot of, the little things that are harder to see in a vehicle. So stopping and looking at the plant life, stopping and looking at the bugs that you can't see from a vehicle. So we kind of walked leisurely with lots of stops, about an hour to an hour and a half. And then they had set up a wonderful kind of happy hour spot, which in Africa they call sundowners. Had some nice sundowners before driving back to camp. So they had met us at the sundowner spot with vehicles. So, if you want to add a couple days in Tarangire, the sample we've put together, it starts at $2,132 per person based on two guests sharing a room. There's luxury and deluxe options available. So that 2,100 price is for a more deluxe level. If you want to upgrade, you obviously can. And keep in mind, safaris for the most part are very all-inclusive for pricing. So that $2,100 would be for your accommodation, all of your meals, drinks is indicated. So knowing like what we've picked for this sample itinerary, the deluxe level would be water, safe water to drink, kind of what we would consider in the US like well liquor, local liquor, beer, wine. The deluxe or the luxury camp might include kind of higher level alcohol as well as maybe some champagne. The price also includes your private guide, your safari vehicle, all of the activities. So, whether you're doing game drives, the walking safari, some camps have other things on offer. So, you might be able to do a night game drive where you go out after dinner, get to see maybe more of the nocturnal animals out and about. All of your transfers, so we'll pick you up probably from Arusha at the end of the visit. We'll get you back there, or however we need to coordinate getting you to and from the visit. All your conservation and park fees to get into the national park. We also donate $25 to an African charity on your behalf for everyone who books. And that would be in addition to the 10% donation we're also giving Daring Girls. Our second option, if you want to go a little bit further or a little bit longer, would include stops in two different parks. So the Ngorongoro Crater and Serengeti National Park are two more great options in kind of the northern part of Tanzania. So Ngorongoro Crater is, I think it's the largest sunken caldera in the world. I think that's the technical term. Um, but it's home to a plethora of animals, and most of them are kind of in the crater. So we know they're not going to amble their way out too easily. Um, then Serengeti National Park, one of the most well-known parks in Africa, and for good reason. There are no shortage of wildlife in the Serengeti and incredible views, huge wide open landscapes, really what you're thinking of or envisioning when you think of, a National Geographic style safari. You're probably picturing the Serengeti, even if you don't realize it. So, with 5 days, 4 nights, or more, you can combine those two destinations. A couple nights in Ngorongoro Crater, drive up, and a couple nights in Serengeti National Park. So there's also morning and afternoon safari activities in these parks, similar to Tarangire. Um, a lot of times, especially with the Ngorongoro crater, because there are no camps down inside the crater, all of them are either up on the rim looking into the crater or a little bit further outside of the crater area. A lot of times you get to do a full day game drive into the crater, and your safari guide will set up this wonderful, they call it picnic lunch, but a lot of times, they're actually cooking tableside, or bringing out quite an array of food for your picnic lunch. And you get to spend the whole day, driving around and finding a lot of different wildlife. So this sample itinerary starts at the $4,483 per person based on two guests sharing a room. I should note for any itinerary, if you are a solo traveler or you have an odd number of people traveling, maybe 3 or 5, we can definitely accommodate that as well. Some camps do charge single supplements, but sometimes there's creative ways around that. So, please reach out. We'll see what we can put together based on your unique situation and whatever rooming you have. And like the other sample, the pricing is very much all inclusive. Your accommodations, your meals, your drinks, the guide, the safari vehicle. This sample itinerary does have a small internal flight, which is included in the price. So from Arusha, you would drive to Ngorongoro Crater, then you would drive up to Serengeti National Park. You can, in theory, drive all the way from Serengeti back to Arusha. And depending on, which camp you're at, sometimes it's doable without feeling too painful and long. But for the most part, we would recommend you take a very short flight back into Arusha before you connect to your international flight. So because the flight is what we would recommend for the routing, we've included that in this price as well. And again, all your activities, all your road transfers, the conservation and park fees, and that same donation to a charity, as well as the 10% donation to Daring Girls. So these are just two ideas of kind of how you can easily add on to your Daring Girls visit. But again, the sky is the limit. If you've got something else in mind that you want to do, or you don't know what you want, but you don't think it's this, then we can work with you, get you some ideas, brainstorm, and put together something that's unique and perfect for you. So I don't know if there's any questions or Jessica, if you want to jump back in with
Yeah.
anything.
I'll maybe just in the interest of time jump back in. And if there are any questions, why don't you pop them in the chat, either direct to Beth or to me or to the group, and we'll answer them as we wrap up here. But that was amazing, Beth. I don't know if it was the sleeping lion or like those beautiful blue skies, but I'm ready to book a vacation. It looks pretty amazing. So thank you for walking us through your options.
Of
Um,
course.
Awesome. So I'm going to jump back to my screen here and just wrap up with a little bit more about kind of the overall trip. But again, if you have questions about any of the Africa Adventure Consultants offerings or Daring Girls trip so far, please feel free to go ahead and drop those in the chat and we will answer those. Um, so here are just a couple scenes while I share a little bit more about, what to expect. When we are visiting schools like this one, you can see some students walking around at the school in Tanzania. Women are required to wear long dresses, so that's something to pack. I usually find things that are lightweight and long off Amazon, so that's a good place to shop for stuff you might just wear once or twice. Men can wear slacks, just avoid wearing shorts and flip-flop kind of things to be respectful of the school environment. When we're in the village day, you can wear whatever you want. You can wear a tank top and shorts if you want. It's very comfortable, so dress as you wish. The time of year that we're visiting is kind of my favorite time of year to be there because the weather is not so hot. It's a cooler season. So the temperature should probably be in maybe like the high 70s each day. So kind of perfect. So those are just a couple things in terms of what to expect in terms of attire and dress code. If you have dietary restrictions, we can work with that. It's, I think, a lot easier in Tanzania than some other countries to, help if you're vegetarian or vegan or have other allergies or dietary restrictions. So just let us know about that and we can accommodate throughout the trip as well. Um, any questions, go ahead and drop them. But I think those are some of the things that I like to know before I sign up for a trip, what to wear and can you, what am I going to eat? So, now for kind of the big sort of wrap up for the Daring Girls portion of the trip, we do have two pricing structures. Either it's yourself with your own room or it's for a duo, whether it's your significant other or a child or a friend. If you're sharing a room, this is the price for a duo. So it's about, I think, comes out to about $5,050 or something like that per person if you're looking at it that way. We do have a cap on this trip of 16 people. We're sort of at the beginning of announcing this, so we only have two so far signed up, so there is plenty of space right now. And honestly, a smaller group is a little bit better and more intimate, I find. So if we do get the bigger size of group, we'll probably separate the group in some way just to create a little more special and intimate feel for the trip. So, registration, you can register at our website. You can find all the links at daringgirls.org/Tanzania 2026. There is a non-refundable deposit to book the spot. This is tax deductible and part of the tax deduction that comes with the overall cost of the trip. There is a $1,500 donation per person built into the trip, and that helps to cover Daring Girls costs and planning and organizing all of this, but also to support our local partner, which is where that donation goes. The more people we get on the trip, the more we can grow that tax deductible amount back to you. So that's bring your friends and everybody gets a bigger tax deduction. Um, the trip does include local transportation upon the official start of the trip, including driver gratuities. It includes your hotel rooms for 6 nights, every meal you're going to eat during the course of those days, ending with breakfast on August 8th at the hotel. It includes your local excursions and activities and any of the corresponding gratuities that we offer for any of those activities. It does include a $1,500 tax deductible donation to Daring Girls per person. And really, again, just an incredible experience that you just can't replicate by yourself or with any other organization of seeing schools and meeting Glammy mentors is something that is on your bucket list, which it should be because it's an amazing group and such wonderful girls that you'll meet. The trip does not include your international flight to and from Tanzania. It does not include your Tanzanian entry visa, which you must secure online in advance. It is very easy to get online, but you do want to make sure that you allow yourself enough time to get that. And we can help you with that. Africa Adventure Consultants, if you end up working with them, can also give you tips if you're getting that as well. Any medical insurance, travel insurance, we do require that you have some kind of medical insurance. You just never know if something might happen. We always plan for the best and expect that something might go wrong. And thankfully, knock on wood, nothing has so far. So, um, any vaccinations that you might need, we'll share information about that with those coming on the trip. Alcohol during your dinners is included with the trip, but if you go relax one afternoon and want a bottle of wine by the pool, that would be on you. We also are not including hotel room gratuities because that's very individual based on service and preference. So, and then we also don't provide local transportation to your next destination at the end of this trip, but we can help you arrange that, and it is very affordable and easy to do. So, just a couple trip requirements if you decide that this is the fit for you, and we hope it is this year. We do have two pre-trip orientations that are held via Zoom. We find that time together at a time that works for everyone, if not most people, and we do record that if someone has to miss it. It's just a chance to meet the other people going on the trip so you know who you're going to be spending a week with and to just talk about any kind of last minute odds and ends that might come up or that you might want to know about or have questions about. We do require that you take any vaccinations or travel medicine that are recommended. Anti-malarial medication is strongly recommended. Um, and then also just the ability to walk on uneven terrain and in hilly areas. A lot of the schools are very uneven ground and rocky. And so we just want to make sure that everyone coming is comfortable walking on that kind of terrain. And then we do have a trip waiver and a child protection policy that does need to be reviewed by everybody coming on the trip. Even if you're bringing a minor, the parent will need to sign for the minor because there are increasingly strict rules about personal privacy and children's privacy in Tanzania. And that's actually even changing in real time right now. So we want to be very careful about everyone knowing the rules so our partner organization, Glammy, does not get any unneeded fines or anything like that. So, but we'll tell you everything you need to know. And of course, again, happy to answer any questions, but really that is, in a nutshell, our trip. And we're so excited and hope that you can join us for the trip this year. It was so much fun last year. We had a family come, we had mother-daughter duos coming, we had a woman traveling on her own, which this is a fun fact. She took a safari with Africa Adventure Consultants afterward on her own, and her safari driver was a KISA Project alumna who went through the programs we supported. So they're everywhere, these amazing girls that you'll meet. You just never know. Um, so with that, I will invite you all to head over to daringgirls.org and you'll find a link to the trip website at the very top of our page. Beth is available, as am I, to answer any questions in the future. Just reach out to me and I'll channel things over to Beth if you have a question for her. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you for watching, and we'll hope to see you in Tanzania very soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.